All right. Florida Department of Education 2013 Educational Appropriations by the Fund of the Educational Enhancement Lottery Trust Fund, February 2014. Back to 2023. Part 2. 2013 program projections funded from Educational Enhancement Lottery Trust Funds. Public school system. Specific appropriations class 1. Specific appropriations class 1. Classroom First 1997 School Capital Outlay Bond Programs. Educational Enhancement Trust Funds in Chapter 2013 through 40. Laws of Florida. LOF. Special appropriations of number 1 of $156 million. Funds and specific appropriations. One are cash debit services requirements of the Classroom First 1997 School Capital Outlay Bond Program established in Chapter 97 through 384 Laws of Florida. Provisional language allows the funds of specific appropriations. One to be transferred operational budget authority to Lottery Capital Outlay Debit Services Trust Funds pursuant to Section 11 1013-71 Florida State statutes for their payment of the debit services project expenditures appropriated from the Lottery Capital Outlay Debit and Service Trust Funds an amount sufficient to enable the payment of debt services obligations and projects resulting from these transfers. During the 20-year period, 1997 School Capital Outlay Bond Program, over $2 billion in revenue will be available to the public school district for construction of the permanent classroom facilities. See page 39, authorized project funding for the district of the $156 million appropriation. Specific appropriation 1 is used to pay annual debit services obligations on the lottery bonds to provide cash for the projects and districts delegated to not participate in issuance of the bond. Programs funded from the proceeds are cited below. The program Classroom First program provides the funds school district from a new construction, renovation, remodeling, repair, maintenance of educational facilities. Funded allocated follows is 25% based on the capital outlay full-time equivalent membership, 65% based on the growth of the capital outlay full-time equivalent membership, and 10% based on the sum of years of the digits. Formula in Section 1013-64-1A Florida State statutes. The district may also cash from their shares appropriation, new construction, renovation, remodeling, major repair, maintenance of educational facilities, or pay debt services on issued by the state of the behalf of the purpose proceeds from these such bonds were expended first to provide permanent classroom facilities. The Classroom First program was initiated to fund personally funded new construction, additional existing schools in order to provide permanent classroom facilities. The program has been funded through issuance of revenue bonds supported by the lottery revenues. Lottery-based funds have been encumbered and expended for the public school district for capital outlay projects, including the construction of new schools, additions to existing schools, as well as renovation and remodeling of existing schools. Also funded Also funding in the proceeds of where the School Infrastructure Thrift Program awards small county assistant program effort index grants to SIT, which is School Infrastructure Thrift Program, provides incentive grants to proceed to districts for saving realize the functional frugal school construction. The Small Accounts Association program provides the funds to school districts and counties with a population of 75,000 that has urgent need for the school facility. Major school building expansion, repairs, renovations but lacked sufficient resources of a 3-year period to complete such projects. The Effort Index grant provides grants to assist districts demonstrate a specified level of local funding, still having need to be built a new student station. The funds for these programs have also fully disbursed by Florida Department of Education to be qualifying for the district. Specific appropriation to classroom size reduction lottery capital outlay program. The Educational Enhancement Trust Fund in Chapter 2013 through 40, the Laws of Florida specification appropriation number 2 of $1,153,806,836 Provisional language allows for funds provided in specification appropriation to the fund to transfer non-operating budget authority of lottery capital outlay debit services trust funds pursuant to Section 1013-71 Florida State statutes. Payment of debit services there is appropriated lottery capital outlay debit service trust fund in an amount sufficient to enable the payment of the debt services resulting from the transfer. Additionally, provost language set forth the fund and provided the specification appropriation of the fiscal year 2013-2014 debit service obligations on all bonds authorized pursuant to Section 1013-737 in Florida State statutes, including any other continuing payments necessary necessary incidental repayment bonds. These funds may be used for refinancing all bonds of the series if it is in best interest of the state. The class size reduction lottery capital outlay program, referred to as Class for Kids program, was established for providing the funding of the public school district for the purpose of meeting constitutional class size reduction requirements. Additional with the district effort recognition program established who all provided funds eligible for public school and capital outlay purposes to reduce class size for any lawful capital outlay purposes if the class size maximum has been met by the qualifying public school district. The first 8 appropriations of the program aggregated amount of $600 million was approved for the legislature for the fiscal year of 2003 to 2004. Additional appropriations of $654 million for the fiscal year of 2006 through 2007 and $650 million for the fiscal year of 2007 through 2008 have been approved for the legislature to fund the class size reduction projects. The appropriation has funded through the issuance of the revenue bond supported by the lottery revenues appropriation, and item 2 that being used to pay the annual debt of the service obligation outstanding lotteries. See page 39, authorized bonded project funds and districts for fiscal year of 2004 through 2005, 2005 through 2006. Class size reduction appropriation were granted for the other revenue services. Section 1013-735 Florida State Statute Classroom for Kids Program. The one allocation of the department shall allocate the funds funded by the appropriated Classroom Kids Program. The intent of the legislator from the program administrated is nearly practicable in the same manner the capital outlay program authorized under the 9A Article 12 State Constitution. Each district school board shares an annual appropriation of the Classroom Kids for the must be calculated according to the following formula. 25% of the appropriation shall be prorated the district based on each district percentage of the K-12 base capital outlay full-time equivalent membership. 65% shall be based on each of the district's percentage of the K-12 growth capital outlay full-time equivalent membership is specified in the allocation fund as public educational capital outlay and are known as PICO and debt services trust funds by 1013-64. 10% of the appropriations must be allocated among the district school boards according to allocation formula 1013-64-1A, excluding adult vocational technical facilities. District participation. 2. District participation. In order to participate in a Classroom for Kids program, a district school board shall enter in an interlocal agreement pursuant with Section 113.33, certified in district inventory facilities listed in the Florida Inventory Schoolhouse and accurate, up-to-date pursuant. 3. Use of funds. In order to increase capacity to reduce class size, district school boards shall spend funds received pursuant to the section only to the construct, renovate, remodel, repair educational facilities that in excess of the project identify the district of 5-year work program adopted prior to the March 15, 2003. Purchase or lease purchase relocatable facilities that are in excess relocatable identified by the district 5-year work program adopted prior to the March 15, 2003. March 15, 2003. The history is the chapter 2 of 2003 through 339, 2004 through 42. Section 1013.736 and Florida State Statute District Effort Recognition Program. Recognition funds from funds appropriated with the legislative district effort recognition of the capital outlay shall be eligible to school districts in accordance with the provision of their section of the General Operations Act. The funds appropriated in this section are not subject to the provisions of Statute 216.301. Eligibility. Annual Department of Education shall determine each of the district's compliance with the provision 1003.03 determining this district eligibility to receive district effort recognition grant for the local school facilities project pursuant to this section. Districts shall be eligible for district effort recognition grant based upon participation in any of the following. The district levies half-cent school capital outlay surtax authorized in statute 212.0556. This district participates in a levy of local government infrastructure sales surtax authorized by 212.0552. The district level levies voted mileage of the capital outlay purposes authorized in Article 7 of the state constitution. 3. District Recognition Program. The department shall annually calculate the district effort amount of each district of the September 1st after each fiscal year. The total amount of the revenue prior to the year of each revenue levied district in subsection 2 shall be divided in the number of the months in which the revenue is received, multiplied in the number of the authorized months remaining in each of the voter referenda. The amount is determined for each of the revenue levied shall be totaled. The Department of the Revenue shall report the amount of the voted approved the report revenue described in paragraph 2A and B. The district shall be reported the amount of the revenue described in paragraph 2B. Identifying the district fixed capital outlay prior fiscal year, they determine the amount of the revenue levied pursuant to the paragraphs 2C. The district shall annually report to the Department of Education outstanding debt services bond series and date of maturity. The total annually debt service maturity remaining of the July 1st of each of the years shall be added to the other revenues levied pursuant to the paragraph 2A and B, determining the total district of effort amount. Only the amount voter approved of the revenue described in paragraph 2B, which is identified by the district fixed capital outlay from the prior fiscal year, shall be used in the calculation. For allocation and distribution of funds, the department shall allocate the amount of funds provided among all eligible districts based upon the district proportion of the funds determined in subsection 3. Funds shall be distributed once district has been encumbered with the funds. 5. Use of funds. School districts that do not meet constitutional class size maximum described in section 1003.031 must fund capital outlay reduce the class size. School districts that meet the constitutional class size maximum may use these funds as capital outlay purposes. History is S5, Chapter 2003 through 391. Specific Appropriation, Florida Educational Finance Program, Educational Enhancement Trust Fund in Chapter 2013 through 240. Law of Florida Specification Appropriation Appropriation 17 at $200 million funded provided by the specific operation allocated to the specific operation in 87. In 1973, the Florida legislature enacted the Florida Educational Financing Program, the FEEFP, and established a state policy of equalized funding of the guarantee to each student in the Florida public educational system availability program service appropriate to his or her educational needs for the substantial equal to the available to any similar student, notwithstanding geographic differences varying local economic factors. To provide equalization educational opportunity, the Florida Educational Finance Program recognizes 1. The varying local property tax bases. 2. Verifying educational program costs. 3. Verifying cost of living. 4. Verifying cost of equivalent educational programs due to the dispersion of the student population. Section 1011.62 Florida State Statutes outlines a formula must be used to calculate the funding of the federal Florida Educational Financing Program. The Florida Educational Financing Program primary mechanism is to fund operating Florida school districts as a key feature of the Florida Educational Financing Program that bases financial support of educational education upon the individual student participating in a participation educational program rather than upon number of teachers in classroom. The Florida Educational Financing Program are primarily generated by the multiplying the number of full-time equivalency FTEs students, in which each funded education program costs the factor to the obtained weight of the FTE students. Weighted FTE students are then multiplied by the base of student allocation by the district cost different in major calculations determined by the base funded by the state and local Florida Educational Financing Program. The Florida Educational Financing Program has a total of operation of $7 billion. $7.3 billion that is funded with $200 billion from an educational enhancement trust fund of $7 billion for general revenue and $118 million for state and school trust funds. That does not include the $9.8 million provided with the program section 1 of the chapter 2013 through 2015 law of Florida. Specification Operations in 8. Class Size Reduction. At Educational Enhancement Trust Fund, Chapter 2013 through 2013 through 40, Law of Florida Specification Operations 8, Law $103 million. Funds of Specification Operations 8 and 83. 8 and 88 are approved and implementation requirements of Section 1003, 1011, and 68. Florida State Statute class size reduction allocation factors graded at the pre-kindergarten grade shall be 1,320.5, 1,003, pre-kindergarten through to grade 3 shall be $1,320 for grades 4 through 8, $900.48 for grades 9 through 12, $902.65 for classroom reduction sizes 9 through 12. Class size reduction allocation shall be recalculated based on the enrollment of the through October 2013, the FTE survey, except for the provided section 1003. .34 Florida State Statute. Total class size reduction allocation is greater than the appropriation shall be prorated level operation based on each of the district calculated amount. The Commissioner of Education may withhold disbursement of these funds district in compliance with the reporting information required in class size reduction implementation. The class size reduction is a total operation of $2.9 billion of the funded of $103 million from educational enhancement trust funds and $86 million from the state school trust fund, as in $2.7 million in general revenue. Specific Operation 9 District Lottery and School Recognition Program. The Educational Enhancement Trust Fund in Chapter 2013-4 is Law Office of Florida. Specific Operation 9, $134 million. And funds provided by the Specific Operation 9 is provided by the Florida School Public allocated awards of up to $100 per student as qualified at school pursuant is section of 1008.36 Florida State statutes. If the funds remaining after the repayment of the qualified school's balance should be allocated to all school districts based on each district K through 12 base funding. For these funding, schools shall allocate up to $5 per unweighted student to be used at the discretion of the School Advisory Council pursuant to Section 24.1215 Florida State Statute. If the fund is insufficient, provide $5 per student, and the available funds shall be prorated. This is specification of Operation Workforce Development. Educational Enhancement Trust Fund in the Chapter 2013 through 2014. Office of Florida, Laws of Florida Specification Appropriation 10 of $57 million. Funds of Specific Appropriation 10 is provided by the School District Workforce Education Program is defined in Section 1004.0226 Florida State Law are allocated in other workforce development funds. Specification Operation 11117 as follows. Alcucci is 540,000. Baker 132,000. Bay $2,778,000. Bradford 893,000. Bedford 3,255,000. Broadward 69 million. Calhoun 88,000. Charlotte 2,037. Citrus 2,396. Clay 850,000. Collier $7.6 million. Columbia $265,000. Miami-Dade $76,483,000. DeSoto $640,000. Dixie $61,000. Escambia $4,524,000. Flagler $1,685,000. Franklin $56,000. Gadsden $661,000. Glades $49,000. Gulf $141,000. Hamilton $66,000. Hardy $251,000. Hendry $298,000. Hernando $283,000. Hillsborough $27 million. And Indian River $98,000. Jackson $326,000. Jefferson $133,000. LaFay $54,000. Lake $4 million. Lee $8.9 million. Leon $5.5 million. Liberty $118,000. Madison $60,000. Manatee $8,237,000. $237, $8,237,000. Marion, $3,558,000. Meriton, $1,646,000. 1,000, sorry, one and 646,000. Monroe, 711,000. Manassas, 366,000. Counselor, 1,732,000. Orange County, 31,002,075,000. Osceola, 5,672,000. Palm Beach, 18 and 633,000. Pasco, 2,351,000. Pinellas, 24,900,000. Polk County, 8,886,000. 8,886,000. Santa Johnson, $4 million. Santa Rose, $1.2 million. Sarasota, $7.7 million. Sumter, $130,000. Sewanee, $793,000. Taylor, $1 million. Union, $110,000. Wakula, $174,000. Walton, $391,000. Washington, $2,729,000. Washington Special, $43,000. Section 10,004.02 Workforce education means adult general education to career education may consist of a continuing workforce education course program or studying lead of occupational completion or career certificate in an applied technology or diploma or career degree. The workforce development has an appropriation of $348 million. $350 million is funded by the $57 million from the Educational Trust Fund and $291,639,843 from general revenue.